From farm to table, billions of dollars in food are wasted every year in the United States. The question is, what can consumers do to limit the amount of food and cash that go into the trash? This lesson, working together to reduce food waste, will take a closer look at this issue and provide the answers we need to get us back on track. Hi, my name is Lori Wuellner, Health and Food Safety Agent for K-State Research and Extension in Wyandotte County. And today we'll explore specific ways that consumers can reduce waste and introduce resources to help us tackle this issue. Before we get started, you'll just want to make sure that the volume is up on your computer. This is just a reminder that K-State Research and Extension programming is available and open to all people. Also, this is a look at the publication that I will be referring to today, and also specifically draw your attention to the two authors, Rachel Wuellner and Londa Nwadike, both from Kansas State University. Briefly, we'll take a look at how to reduce waste by reducing the surplus volume of food, donating safe and healthy food, and composting. Now, because of the depth of information on some of these topics, I won't go into much detail, but I will provide you with links in case you want to access it for additional information. Wasted food is a major global issue, and the concern over it is really nothing new. Notice this sign from World War II. They were concerned about the very same things that we are concerned about today. And while it is an old issue, unfortunately, it is a growing problem. Food waste has nearly doubled since the 70s. And food is wasted everywhere from the farm to the table. But in the United States, most of our food is wasted later in the food supply chain with retailers, restaurants, food service, and in households like yours and mine. If we were in person, I would ask you to raise your hand if you threw anything out of your refrigerator recently. And I'm guessing the answer to that would be yes. The good news is that there are ways that we can improve, and this presentation will address exactly that. According to the USDA, it's estimated that 30 to 40% of edible food in the US currently goes to waste, as much as 20 pounds of food per person per month. This accumulated wasted food is worth an estimated $161 billion, which is a significant loss to our economy. And it occurs, again, all along the food chain from farm to fork. For example, food is sometimes left in the fields because it costs more to harvest than it would be sold for. Food that travels long distances are more likely to perish en route. And at the retail level, food is wasted when grocery stores or restaurants buy more of a perishable food than what they can sell. And again, in this workshop, we will just be focusing on the household level. Now, I like this because I think it's a great depiction of a family of four, in this case, monthly share of wasted food in 8 groups of food. And as you can imagine, the fruits and vegetables, fresh fruits and vegetables, account for the largest percentage of household waste by weight. And meat, of course, is the most expensive. Most of us are familiar with the meaning of food insecurity and its impact in our communities. I think this slide is very telling because it speaks to the impact of, again, food insecurity and connection to food waste. Hunger can affect people in all walks of life, but some people, including children and senior citizens, may be at greater risk for hunger. The points highlighted here, and this comes from Feeding America, address some current statistics. Due to the pandemic, it's been estimated that 50 million people experienced food insecurity this past year. Now compare that to the previous years, in 2019 with 35 million, and in 2018 with 14.3 million. So again, perhaps by reducing food waste, we can also lessen the food insecurity issue. When we throw out food, we're also throwing away the money that we spent on the wasted water and energy and labor used to produce that food. Also, food dumped in a landfill emits a large amount of methane gas, which is harmful to the environment. Because of the environmental impact of food waste, the US EPA has developed this food recovery hierarchy that you see here to help people really begin to think about what are the best ways that they can reduce food waste. Now, while every entity on this chart has a responsibility in reducing food waste, again, I'll just focus mostly on what you and I as consumers can do. I'll be addressing these 6 strategies, and we'll be starting with meal planning. So let's get to it. Busy families struggle to find time to plan meals or even use the food that they already have purchased. Making a weekly meal plan and after checking to see what's in your refrigerator and then shopping accordingly will prevent this from happening. The plan can also help save preparation time. Before planning food, buying more food, you want to eat the perishables in your refrigerator first. Leftovers or plantovers can be made into soups and casseroles and stews, and to be used at a later time. You just want to be certain that you label and date those leftovers to be eaten or freeze them within 3 to 4 days. Also, for safety measures, you want to make sure that you reheat those leftovers to 165 degrees. This is just one of the storage charts available through K-State Research and Extension. The other one is the cupboard storage. Both are excellent resources and would be great to keep them on hand. All right, so number 2, grocery shopping. How often do you go to the grocery store to get just a few items and buy groceries that you don't need? I'm guilty, and I'm sure many of us are, at one point or another at least. Meal planning, though, can help curb those impulse shopping. Once you have your meals planned, make a list and stick with that list. If you do have to buy extras, keep a list of what you have handy so that you remember to use them. More oftentimes than not, they get shoved to the back of the cabinet and we forget about them. Again, adding to food waste. Before shopping, look at grocery ads and incorporate sale items into your weekly plan, again, for those things that you really need. Only buy in bulk for specific purposes or to preserve for later use. And look for items reduced for quick sale to save money and reduce food waste. This also prevents the grocery store from having to throw those foods away, and they're perfectly safe and healthy. Online grocery shopping may also help families buy only the items that they have on their list, thereby reducing food waste and also keeping within their budget. Right, the third point is proper food storage. Do you know what the temperatures of your refrigerator and freezer should be? Do you have a thermometer in both appliances to gauge safe temperatures? Using a thermometer in the refrigerator and the freezer will help ensure that the appliance is in good working condition and will maintain those optimal temperatures, again, thereby reducing food waste. So keep your refrigerator at 40 degrees or less and your freezer at 0 or less. Store foods in packaging that is designed for the condition in which you will be storing it. So be it your freezer or refrigerator or at room temperature, again, for best quality and safety and reducing the waste. It may go without saying, but clean your refrigerator regularly, which again helps in the safety of the food and reduce waste. Use good stock rotation, the FIFO method. The Missouri Extension. All right, number 4. Freezing is another option to extend the life of your food. Now, frozen food can be saved for long periods of time. However, the quality of the food decreases with prolonged freezer storage. It's important to note that freezing stops the growth of some pathogens. However, once they are thawed, they can begin to grow again. Also, use freezer-safe packaging and containers, which will improve the quality of the food. And again, make sure that you refer to the K-State publications on freezer and refrigerator storage for guides and times. You can extend the life of your food also through safe food preservation in the form of canning, especially if you have a large quantity of produce. As noted here, some vegetables should be blanched before freezing for best quality. The blanching, simply means to submerge the produce into boiling water for a specified amount of time, followed by an ice bath. And just again, it's kind of a plunge. So make sure you read directions on the specified time. Now, just a couple of take-home notes. Home canned items stay their best quality for about 1 year. Always use tested and reputable recipes and directions specific to home canning. Improperly canned food can lead to sickness. And it's very serious and even death in some cases. So you want to make sure that, again, that you're using tested recipes that are designed for home food preservation. And here are two very good links. The second bullet there will take you to the Rapid Response Center. It has a lot of publications on canning and preserving, and also the National Center for Home Food Preservation from the University of Georgia is an excellent site. In summary, anytime you're following the 4 steps of cleaning, separating, cooking, and chilling, you are ensuring the safety of your food, which in turn lengthens the life of the food. All right, moving on to 5, product dates. Dates listed on food products can be very confusing for consumers and can lead to unnecessary waste. The only food product federally required to have a date is infant formula. A sell-by date tells the store how long to display the product for sale. Consumers should buy the product before that date, but usually it's not necessary to discard it after that time, and that's important to note. The best buy or use by dates are the food manufacturer's recommendation for best flavor and quality. The food is not necessarily unsafe after that date. To determine if a food is still safe to eat or not, you want to look for signs of spoilage. Does the food have an off odor? Is it the color characteristic for the product? Does the texture appear to be different? But it's important to remember that while these are good indicators, a foodborne illness may not always be detected with what the eye can see or what the nose can smell. If the best by date has passed and the food is in good, wholesome condition and it has been handled safely, the item should still be safe for consumption. But if you are not sure, it is best to throw out, or better yet, compost it. There are apps to help you sort through some of the questions you might have about food safety. The app that you see here, Is My Food Safe, is from the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. The Food Keeper that you see here helps you understand food and beverage storage, and it will help you maximize the freshness and the quality of the items, again, thereby reducing the waste. This was developed by the USDA's Food Safety and Inspection Service, along with Cornell University and the Food Marketing Institute. Portion control is important whether you are cooking and eating in or eating out. So again, buy only what that you can eat or safely store at home to use later. Grocery stores want foods that look beautiful and unblemished on the outside, which means they don't want ugly food like scarred fruits and vegetables. So what makes a food imperfect? Well, some of the most common reasons perfectly good food gets rejected by a store could end up going to waste would be if it's been discontinued. Perhaps it's a surplus or excessive inventory. And even like the cosmetic or the outward appearance isn't characteristic for the product, or it's simply not valued in that it's got just the stems and pieces and not the whole product intact. After source reduction, the second most preferred method of reducing food waste is to donate extra food to food banks, soup kitchens, and shelters. Donating food helps redistribute unused food to those individuals who do not have enough to eat. Non-perishable foods are the best items for consumers to donate, such as canned and boxed items. Be sure that the food is unopened and unused prior to donating. Now, some food pantries do have refrigerators and freezers, and they can accept perishable food items like meat and produce. You just want to make sure that you contact them ahead of time to see what their restrictions are. For more detailed information on donating safe and healthy items, refer to this K-State Research and Extension publications that you see here. This fact sheet provides directions on the do's and don'ts of donating. Also, if you are involved in cooking and serving in soup kitchens, be aware and practice good food safety measures, such as hand hygiene, temperature control, and more. Details of volunteer quantity cooking can be found in this publication. Before throwing food into a landfill, a better use of unused food is composting. Compost can be used to fertilize your garden and to improve your soil structure. Most food items can be safely composted at home, including the ones that are already moldy. K-State Research and Extension has a great deal of information available on composting, and some are noted here. The next 3 slides are additional information on food waste and more that you might want to just take a closer look at. Specifically, the storage charts that I mentioned are noted here at the bottom in cupboard and the refrigerator freezer. Here's the second slide. The third bullet here, food donation liability in Kansas, is a look at, again, kind of those do's and don'ts that are specific to the state of Kansas when it comes to donating food. Another good site to go to is the Pollution Prevention Institute. There's quite a bit on food waste at that site. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you're able to identify specific ways that you can contribute to reducing food waste. Every action we take together will make an impact. For more information on nutrition, health, and food safety, please feel free to contact me. Take care and thanks again.